You know that feeling when a book title just, well, it sort of whispers adventure, maybe a bit of danger, and definitely some intrigue.
Yeah.
That's kind of where we are today. You asked us to check this one out, curious about the buzz, and we've done the legwork.
Exactly. We are diving deep into Enchantra, a spicy fantasy romance. It's book 2 in the Wicked Games series by Kaylie Smith.
Right, the Kindle edition.
Yep. And our intel. It's straight from the Amazon page, the descriptions, editorial reviews, and crucially, those customer reviews, the really candid ones.
Yeah, those are always revealing. So, okay, our mission today basically is to just pull out the core of Enchantra.
Sure.
What's the story? What are the big themes? And how are readers actually reacting?
Think of it like the express lane to being in the know.
Yeah.
You get the gist without having to read all 400 plus pages yourself.
Perfect for our listeners who want that quick, solid understanding. So, let's jump in. What's the initial setup? Who's Genevieve Grimm?
Okay, so Genevieve, she's driven by something pretty powerful. Finding out what really happened with her mother's death. There are unanswered questions.
Ah, okay, a classic motivator.
Right. And this search leads her to this legendary place, the Cursed Palace of Enchantra. It sounds inviting, right?
Cursed Palace. Not exactly a tourist spot, then.
Definitely not. And it gets worse. She doesn't just visit. She gets pulled into this deadly game happening inside the palace walls.
A deadly game in a cursed palace. Okay, the stakes are immediately high. And this being romantasy, I'm guessing there's a significant other involved.
You guessed it. Enter Rowan Silver.
Let me guess. Handsome but complicated.
Bingo. Described as arrogant, handsome, and yeah, very much involved in these games. He's part of the family trapped there.
Trapped. Interesting. So what's his reaction to Genevieve showing up?
Not welcoming, let's put it that way. He actually tries to stop her from even getting into Enchantra.
Oh, creates instant friction, doesn't it? Why does he want her there?
Good question. The description hints at his family's secrets and the dangers within. Maybe he thinks he's protecting her. Or himself.
Or maybe he just doesn't like outsiders. But Genevieve's described as feisty, so I doubt she just turns around.
Not a chance. She
Yeah.
finds her way in, but survival isn't straightforward.
Huh?
There's a condition involving Rowan.
Oh, here we go. What's the catch?
Well, to compete together and, survive this game, Rowan makes a deal. They have to pretend to be madly in love.
Fake dating in a death game. Okay, that's intense.
Right. It sets up this immediate tension, necessity, pretense.
Yeah.
But then maybe real feelings start creeping in, especially when everything's life or death.
And the setting itself, Enchantra, twisted labyrinth of marble and thorns. Sounds atmospheric.
Very. It feels like a character in itself. And adding to the pressure cooker atmosphere is the core rule of the place.
Which is?
Never, ever trust your heart.
Wow. Okay, that's a direct challenge in a romance novel, isn't it?
Yeah.
How can you have romance if you can't trust your feelings?
Exactly. It's a fantastic source of conflict. How do they work together? How do they fake this romance? How do real feelings develop if they're constantly told their hearts are unreliable? It's brilliant.
Yeah, you can really see the appeal. Deadly games, forbidden desire, fake dating, family secrets, morally gray hero. It ticks a lot of boxes.
It really does. And the book description highlights all that.
Hmm.
The intrigue, the spice, the feisty heroine, the complicated love interest.
And they even compare her style to Carrie Maniscalco, Carissa Broadbent, Lauren Roberts. That's like a signal flare for romantasy fans, right?
Totally. It tells readers, hey, if you like that kind of story, this one's probably for you.
Yeah.
It sets expectations for the tone and the heat level.
So speaking of readers, what are they saying? The overall rating is pretty high, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Really high. Like 4.7 out of 5 stars,
Yeah.
with over 50 ratings already, which is impressive for a recent release.
Wow. And the comments, any common themes popping up?
Enthusiasm is definitely a theme. Lots of fabulous, loved, fantastic, enchanting.
Okay, so general love. What specifics are grabbing people?
A big one is how quickly it grabs you. People saying hooked from the first page, couldn't put it down. Many finished it super fast, like under 24 hours.
That always says a lot about the pacing. Fast plot.
Seems like it. They mentioned tension and banter, lots of twists and turns being kept on the edge of your seat, so definitely engaging.
And emotionally engaging, too. I saw something about hearts and vice grips.
Yes. Multiple reviews mention that kind of intense emotional reaction, heart in a vice grip, still recovering from this roller coaster. People are clearly connecting deeply.
What about the central relationship, the Genevieve and Rowan dynamic?
That's getting huge praise. Absolute perfection, impossible to put down, sizzling chemistry, next level.
And Rowan, the morally gray guy, is he hitting the mark?
Oh, absolutely. Readers seem to love the perfect brooding, morally gray love interest. They mention specific moments like him being comforting after nightmares, the touch her and die vibes.
Ah, the protective alpha type moments. People love those.
Totally. And his shadow fox, Umbra, apparently gets some love too.
A shadow fox. Okay, cool detail. What about the spicy aspect mentioned in the title? Is it delivering?
Oh, yes. Multiple reviews mention this spice explicitly. Fire emojis, comments like, spicy scenes were for, romance left me in a fit of giggles and a little hot at times. Okay, maybe a lot of times. So yeah, it seems to deliver on that promise.
Gotcha. So it's got the heat, but is it just spice or is there more to the romance?
Reviewers mention sweet moments and healing too, so it sounds like there's emotional depth alongside the physical chemistry. It's not just one note.
That balance is important, I think. And Genevieve, what do people think of her?
She seems very relatable. One reviewer mentioned identifying with her feeling not enough, which suggests she's a well-rounded character, not just a passive damsel.
Good. And other characters. Any standouts besides the main two?
Yeah, the Silver family, Rowan's family gets mentioned. One reviewer hilariously compared the dysfunctional, murderous Silver family to the vibe in the Vampire Diaries. Messy, but with underlying affection.
Haha, okay. I can picture that. Any specific siblings or relatives getting shout-outs?
Grave and Seven are mentioned as intriguing new characters. People seem excited about their potential roles going forward.
It's always a good sign when secondary characters make an impact. Adds richness to the world.
Definitely. And someone even listed out tropes they spotted. Found family, touch her and die, fated, enemies to lovers, smut, being hunted, demon witch, like a checklist.
Wow, ticking all the boxes. Any particularly memorable review quotes?
There was one that said it was so much better than the first, which is high praise for a sequel.
Oh, interesting.
And they described it as, get this, gothic hide-and-seek with a touch of Chuck E. Cheese.
Chuck E. Cheese. How does that fit in?
I know, right? It's delightfully weird. They also mentioned the Italian setting and catacombs, so maybe it's the mix of dark atmosphere and unexpected game mechanics. It sort of makes you curious.
It really does. Gothic hide and seek with Chuck E. Cheese. I won't forget that. Okay, so substantial book, 443 pages. Just came out April 8th, 2025.
Right. And already hitting #1 bestseller in fantasy romance ebooks, romantic fantasy on Kindle, and even dark fantasy horror.
That's incredibly fast. Speaks volumes about the buzz and how well it's landing with its target audience.
For sure. Kaylie Smith seems to have really nailed what readers want right now.
Let's talk about her a bit. Kaylie Smith, USA Today best-selling author, lover of fantasy.
Yeah. Grew up in Louisiana, apparently haunted bookstores relatable, and pursued writing after college. Also into animals, houseplants, astrology.
Yeah.
Is a little picture.
And she's not new to publishing, right? Had a YA series before this?
Correct. A Ruinous Fate, her YA fantasy series, came out back in January 2023. So she has experience building these kinds of worlds.
That probably helps explain the confidence in the writing people are mentioning. And this series, Wicked Games, Enchantra, is book 2.
Yep. Book 1 is called Phantasma.
Okay. And is there more planned?
Well, one reviewer mentioned the author hinting at a book 3 with a new game, so it sounds like the series might continue.
Good news for fans. And for anyone listening who's now intrigued, how easy is it to get started?
Pretty easy, it seems. The Kindle page apparently bundles book 1 and 2 together for under $6.
Oh, wow. That's a pretty low barrier to entry if this deep dive has piqued someone's interest.
Exactly. Makes it easy to jump right into the world of Phantasma and Enchantra.
Okay, so let's try and wrap this up. Summing up Enchantra. It's a brand new, super popular romantasy.
Definitely romantasy.
It's got this killer premise, search for truth, cursed palace, deadly games, and this forced proximity fake dating romance with a morally gray hero.
Right. High stakes, lots of intrigue, but also that central relationship with all its tension and spice. It blends the gothic, the dangerous, and the romantic really effectively, judging by the reactions.
Readers are loving the fast pace, the characters, especially Genevieve and Rowan, the twists, the emotional depth alongside the heat.
Yeah, it seems to hit that sweet spot for the genre. Compelling plot, engaging characters, great chemistry, atmospheric setting, ticks all the major boxes.
So for everyone listening who wanted the quick download on what Enchantra is all about and why it's suddenly everywhere, hopefully, this gave you a really solid picture.
Yeah, a good sense of the story, the vibe, and why people are, frankly, kind of obsessed with it right now.
And just as a final thought to leave people with, the book is all about deadly games, hidden dangers, not trusting your heart in this place called Enchantra.
Right, where appearances are deceiving.
It kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it, about the enchantras we might encounter in our own lives. Situations that look appealing or straightforward on the surface.
Hmm. But maybe hide complexities or risks we don't immediately see, where we might be playing games with higher stakes than we realize, especially when desire or ambition is involved.
Exactly. It's just a thought, about looking past the facade and thinking about the real games being played, maybe even the ones we play with ourselves. Something to chew on.